Good evening. Hello. How's everybody doing? Good evening. Welcome to the Conscious Creators Toolbox. It's Thursday evening, March the 2nd. Marched right on it here, didn't it? March the 2nd, 2023. Welcome to the Conscious Creators Toolbox. Welcome to our new channel, our new YouTube channel. Excited to be broadcasting, starting in the community of the YouTube family. It's kind of interesting. It's a learning curve for me, but it's fun. It's gonna be okay anyway, welcome to tonight's session of the Conscious Creators Toolbox. Uh, Again, if you're here for the first time, we welcome you. We say that we are conscious ones, and you are conscious ones, and we welcome you to the aware, awakened, and conscious family. Anyway, the Conscious Creators Toolbox come every Thursday night for about 45 minutes to talk about and explore our creative abilities, our creative powers, and take them out of the toolbox. We know we're just loaded down with the abilities and powers to manifest and create, and that's what we do with our creativity. Is we manifest and we create, and we take some time on during the sessions to identify some of those powers that we have to create and manifest. And we take them out of the toolbox. We go out to the tool shed. Sometimes we have to, you know, beat the cobwebs down and dig it out. Sometimes go into the bottom of the trunk or the chest, the back of the barn or wherever, that farm, that tool shed, to find those tools and creative abilities and bring them out, dust them off, fine tune them so that we can manifest and create like the masters do. We are created and we're created and made to manifest. We're created to create. We cannot not create. We cannot not manifest. That's our nature. We do it absolutely with every breath we take and every action that we make, every move that we make. Yeah, we do. We manifest. Anyway, welcome tonight. We're going to wait and see. Hopefully, we're going to have somebody coming. Otherwise, we're going to save this broadcast and download it, upload it to our channel and to our Facebook page and identify it to our Instagram presence and our Instagram partners and followers and get the word out. All right. Anyway, again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for looking me up. And I'm going to invite you to subscribe. I think there's a subscribe button somewhere on your page that you may be looking at. Click that, hit that button, and like us. Drop a comment every now and again. Tell us how we're doing or what we can do differently or better. What do you want to hear? What do you want to? What powers are you interested in taking a look at or taking a closer look at, examining and fine tuning? So let us know. Let us know. Subscribe, like us, comment, and also share our link with your community and your family, your friends, your media presence. We all have a community. We all have an internet and a web presence and community. So share us if you are so inclined, especially if we're talking about something that you've had a discussion with someone about in the past that might be of benefit to them, that may be useful to them. Anyway, glad you're here. Hope you come back to see us on a weekly basis. We're here every Thursday evening. Anyway, I love to always take time during it whenever I have an opportunity or have the mic, if they say. If I'm in front of the mic or I have an audience of even one or two, I always love the opportunity to remind you and remind us who we are, whose we are, who and what we are, and whose we are. So I won't fail myself tonight because I want to remind you that you are indeed an unlimited, unrestricted, created being, created in the image and by your maker, your creator, your source, your father, your God, universe divine, whomever and however you designate your creator to be. You were created by your creator, by your source, and you're created out of the same stuff that creator was created from. and you can do, and you could have, and you can be all that your creator and your maker, your father, your source, your God, divine father can do and have and be. Your father, your creator, withholds nothing from you, absolutely everything, every part of creator, every part of the maker, every part of your father, your God, you have access and it's available to you. God doesn't withhold anything from you. Your creator withholds nothing from you. Absolutely everything the creator has and father has and God has is that your access, at your disposal, if you would. It's your privilege to use and available to you. I tell and I remind people often that you're only restricted and limited by what you believe of your maker, of your creator, of your father, of God. Whatever it is that you believe and you know in your heart of heart, you're knowing that God can do, God can have, God is, then you are that. That's exactly what you are, exactly who you are. All right. So if you restrict God, if you say God can do this and God can't do that, and God is not able to do this, and God can't go here, then you're restricted to that limitation. Whatever limit you put on God is also your restrictions as well. Me, myself personally, my God, my Father, which is also yours, can do all things. There is nothing my God, my Father cannot do. Absolutely everything is it's within the power and in the God is omnipresent, omnipotent, he's just all powerful and can do all things, even the impossible things that people consider to be impossible things. My Father, my God, my Creator can do. And so can I. So can I. We are indeed our Father's children. Chip off the old block, if you would. And again, we inherited all that Father has. We have. Right? Okay. All righty. Tonight is, and likely for the next 3 sessions, we're going to be talking about sharing and looking at and exploring our creative power, the creative power of desire. Desire. Yeah. We're going to talk about desire. I'm so brave. I am so brave to be doing this. But you know what? I was almost tempted this afternoon to jump online, and I was preparing, been preparing and, getting ready for the session for some time, for the past few weeks. It came to me by way of my curiosity. We talked about curiosity last month, and I was preparing for it, and it actually was this morning. I woke up and I was meditating and getting my thoughts together and pulling all my notes together in one place and preparing. And I was like, oh my goodness, I says, I better let them know the truth about me, a truth about this topic and this subject that I'm so curious about. So anyway, I'm going to read I sat down, I said, I got to do a disclaimer here. I got to, make, clear the air. So I have this quick disclaimer that I want to, is just to put out there to let you know, to make everything perfectly clear. Disclaimer for this month's topic of desire. Yep, we are going to be talking and looking into and exploring desire as one of our creative powers, and that truly, and it is, of course, it is. But I want to be clear. I want to make myself very clear and very known to you, who's actually tuning in. And again, very clear. I want to be very clear about this. I do not possess or even consider myself to be any kind of expert on the subject of desire. All right. I'm not a subject expert. I'm not I'm not a subject expert on the subject of desire. And I will repeat that. I am not a subject expert on the subject of desire. That said, I am, however, a person who have in my possession, in my disposal, in my arsenal, in my creative toolbox, desire. It is a part of who I am. It's a part of the nature of the creator and the manifester that I am. So I have access to desire, all right? I'm not an expert at it, okay? So I don't want to come off like I am a know-it-all about the subject of desire, but I have a keen curiosity about all of my creative abilities, all of my creative powers. I want to know what they were created and made and given to me as and accessible to me for. Why do I have the power of desire? Why do I have the why do I have the power of my emotions and my feelings? Why is it that I have an imagination? All of these are my tools. Why is it that I have faith and I believe? Those are all my tools, and I want to know everything I can possibly know about all of my powers. So I do have access to the power of desire, but probably like a lot of you, it's a subject that you're kind of like, oh well, okay, I'm going to be really a little nervous about what Jean's going to talk about tonight or talk about over the next 4 weeks. And I tell you what, Jean's a little bit kind of nervous about it too, because it's so much information that I've learned about it and I've come to understand about it. And I've taken it for a lot of things I've taken for granted about it, that I realize now how potent this power of desire is and how useful it is in the manifestation and the creations of my life, of my reality, of my destiny. And of course, it would be the same for you. We just need to know. We just need to know what we have available to us. We need to understand why it was created and provided for us by our maker, and what was its proper use. What's the best use of it? We can misuse any tool. We can misuse anything that we have in our toolbox. We can not use it properly because we don't know how to use it or we don't understand it. So, I pride myself. I pride myself on my curiosity about my creativity. And I want to share what I understand and what I learn and what I find out is one of my missions and my purpose for myself. And my purpose is to share my understanding and to have a dialogue with others to find out what their thoughts and what their perceptions and what they perceive about their powers as well, and share what I know and hear what they know. And we, you know what, and we got, because we don't manifest alone. We don't create anything alone. Everything takes at least two to create. Sometimes it's just me and master, me and father, me and God, me and creator, me and universe, me and divine. And sometimes I get out to hang out with some pals and we decide we're going to create and manifest things. So that's my claim. I'm letting you know up front, no master of desire. I'm not an expert at the topic. I'm going to be walking the thin ice of my comfort zone, staying just outside my comfort zone and not too far outside of my comfort zone, as we go into these next 3 or 4 weeks of talking about desire. But thanks for joining me again, and hope you come back. And I hope that you ask, present your questions, present your comments, present your concerns, whether it's something that I get it, Gene, or I don't really get it, Gene, or I don't see it that way. That's cool, because we all have our own individual perceptions. We all have our own set of eyes. We all are looking out. We're all looking out. Oh, no, nobody's back there but me looking out. So nobody's back there but you looking out. So we want to share. So I'm sharing. Anyway, so here we go. Talking about desire. What about desire? When I think about desire, the song that pops into my head, of course, is Tina Marie and Rick James, and they sing, fire and desire. The song. The song. If you don't, you should check it out, because they're talking about fire. They're talking about desire in that, and they partner with fires. And you know what? It's kind of like a fire. It could be like a fire, because when you rev that desire up and put some heat behind it, some heat and some energy, some force goes behind it, it's almost like a fire. It's almost like a burning fire. And if it doesn't get satisfied, then sometimes it can burn you. We're going to talk about that later on. We're not going to go there tonight. But anyway, my curiosity brought me to desire, basically. My curiosity, just being curious about desire, is what really brought me to desire. And yes, it's a subject that, like I said, it can be very, very specific for individuals, because we all have our own unique behavior and thoughts and feelings and mind about desires, and we have our own unique desires, if you would. So it could be unique, very unique to us individually, but it's also a human. It's a human collective uh, power to be. All right. So I have my desire. You have your desire. We have desires as a family. We have desires as a community. We have desires as a nation. We have desires as a family, as just a neighborhood. Just a neighborhood. We have a desire as a group. I'm thinking about the Team Conscious Creators. We're getting the process. We're getting ready to um, launch a manifest Hawaii, and we have a desire to see that project, congregate 10, 15 conscious ones like ourselves, to come together, to head over to Hawaii, to take a group back to Hawaii. I just left there back in January for a couple of weeks, about a 5-day trip over there, and I'm looking to take about 5 or 6 of my friends and family and conscious ones with me, and go back over to show them beautiful islands over there, gorgeous islands, and they really know how to care for their land and their culture and their history and their ancestry. They know, and I love that. And I think it would be helpful if we get a taste of that, or we get a scene of that. So my desire is to take a group over, so to form another community and have a common desire to visit and to see Hawaii. We all have desires. Again, it could be a collective thing again, or it could be an individual thing. So we're going to talk about it in both sense, in both arenas, both as individually and as a community, or as a collective, if you would. So anyway, what happened? What was going on is, as I was, I don't know, I can't remember. Just talking to clients. I think going over with clients the past few weeks, and I've had the opportunity to talk about a little bit about our desires and the things that we want, and wishes and wants, and just kind of got off into that, and had a couple of questions that was posed to me, and then I had some questions on my own that kind of cropped up in my asking. So I started, decided, maybe this is something, this is a power, this is a tool, this is a creativity that I would like to understand more about. I would like to understand why do we have desire? Why do we need desire? Why is it truly a creative power? Help me understand how it is a creative power. Help me understand, is it a feeling? Where does that feeling come from? Where does it start? I mean, how do I even come up with desire? What does it even mean? Does everybody have it? Does it feel the same way to everybody else when they're desiring something or someone or whatever they want desiring? Do they feel like I feel? Does it make them happy when they're, in the throes of desire? Is it something that makes you feel good? Is it a physical thing, or is it a mental thing? Is it emotion? What is it? So I had all these questions, and and of course, I could hear my source saying, "Hold your horses, hold your horses." The answers are the answers are available to you. Most of them are inside of yourself, but you know what? Where you can go on a scavenger hunt and you can start looking for information. So that's what I've done. I spent some time exploring these questions, and I'm going to share some of the understanding and some of the information that I've accumulated and I've gathered during this time. I'm going to continue probably doing some research and doing some studying until the session is over. We're going to go through the whole month of March doing this. So hopefully, by the end of March, my March, when it comes April Fool's Day, we're ready to, put some serious desire out there to manifest and to do what it was made and created to do for us as creators, as manifestors. All right. So let's get started. Let's get going. I guess the first question I ask, and I wanted to clear up is it truly a creative power? Is it a creative tool? Is it powerful? What does it do? How does it help me create? If it's a creative tool, what does it do? What is it? What is it about? Well, of course, you want to always know what you're talking about when you're talking about it. So I'm like, what does creation, does desire mean to me? First thing I thought when I was thinking, I said, well, it means I desire. I desire means I want something, or I wish for something, or I long for something, or I'm yearning for it, or I crave it. I want it, so I want it, but I don't just want it. I really, really want it. It's almost like it borders on a need, and sometimes it can be a desperate wanting, if you would. But it's desire. So I wanted to know what does it mean? What does it mean anyway? Desire is basically, by definition and according to the dictionary, desire is a verb and it's a noun. Just like um, other things are. But in this case, the verb meaning of desire, if you would, is actually wishing or wanting or longing or craving or I don't know what's another word I can say. Well, just wanting something. And again, not just wanting it. I would like to have that. No, 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 no. I desire that. To desire something a little bit stronger than I would like to have that. Okay, but it starts there. It can start. It can start with a simple little I would like, and then the more you think about it, and the more you concentrate on it, and the more feelings and visuals and senses things you can stir in your body. It can elevate from just a passing fancy, if you would, to a desire. All right. So desire is it's wanting and longing and wishing for a thing, a person, a situation, a place to go. Like I said, my desire, I have a deep desire for this too, is to take a group of conscious ones with me back over to Hawaii for a 5-day retreat in October. See, I already got me now, it's really getting to be a real desire here. It's a little bit more than I would like to. October 23rd, 2023. I want to take a group back over there and kind of know where I want to go. But you know what? I want the group to kind of be in the midst of heaven. I got it all cooked up, and it's bubbling up. It's bubbling up in me. So that's a desire. That's desire. Now that's both desire of an object, and it's also a verb. And the verb basically is wanting. It is the doing, the activity, the motion behind it, the behavior behind it. I don't just say it. I don't just say I want. I feel it. Energy start moving around in me. And it's moving around in me in a way that motivates me into acting or expressing it by speaking about it, expressing it by describing it, expressing it by sharing the excitement about it with others, expressing about it with my heart's desire. It just pounds in my heart, and every time I think about it, I get excited, or I start feeling mist from the ocean spot. It starts having a physical effect on me, and a mental effect on me, an emotional effect on me. So it's movement. It is movement. So that's the verb, and then the noun. Okay, the noun is just a want. It's a want. It's a wish. It's a long. It's a desire. It's a crave. It's a craving, but it's also a craving because it's a craving. All right. So it's both a verb and a noun, and it's also desire is also a state of mind. Right. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about states of mind sometime in the future, because that's another powerful understanding that we need as manifestors. But tonight, desiring is a state of mind, and it's commonly associated with, well, a number of different effects. Okay. A person with a desire tends to act a certain way. All right. Like I said, like I showed you before, just a passing fancy would be, I would like to have a blue pair of or silver pair of slippers, you know, and then I just go on about my business. But when I start concentrating and focusing on that and rehashing that in my mind, and seeing myself in them, or seeing them sit under my bed, or seeing a picture of me walking around, it starts moving, it starts acting, I start acting a certain way and being a certain way. So it's it's a number of different effects that that desire have on you. So in a normal state of, in a state, what happens is not just a single fancy passes by, but a state is like a whole community, a whole group of stuff, just not just one little activity going, but all kind of things are going on. Your state, you've had an effect on your thoughts. It has an effect on you, how you talk. It has an effect on how you feel when you think about it. The bubble, like the bubble you get, or the excitement that you get, or the rush that you get. All of those things are happening. That's considered a state. All right. A state is a group of activity, a group of emotions, a group of stuff going on. Okay. Not just the 10. Anyway, a person, like I said, a person who has a desire act a whole lot different than somebody that just have a passing fancy. All right. Just a total passing fancy. All right. I might ask you, would you like to go to Hawaii? You might say, yeah, I'd like to go to Hawaii. All right. But you're not craving it like me. Yeah? You haven't started feeling yourself there. You haven't started visualizing. You haven't done that yet. You just say, oh, it'd be nice to go. I saw some pictures the other day. Yeah, I saw some, and I heard you talking about it. So I check, but you haven't moved from there. Okay. But but desire moves you into a different place, a different state of action, a different state of being. All right. You think differently about it. You feel differently about it. And it's really a certain different way you feel when you have that desire, as opposed to just a passing fancy, or just a wanting, or just just what I like to have. Okay. All right. Desire is it's a state of mind that expresses itself in terms of wanting. Now you might say, I want, but I'm wanting this. I'm wanting this. I can say I want this. But when I say I'm wanting this, that means it's an ongoing process. All right. If I say I like this, and it's just like it's a passing thing. If I want, it's just a passing thing. But when I start putting an ing in, I'm in the process of doing it. I am moving. I don't just want it. I am wanting it. And by wanting it, I'm moving. I have started some type of action about getting it. All right. And the thing about desire too, you could want something all day long, want this and that, and they can want all kinds of things all day long. But until you start wanting it, you're not going to start moving toward obtaining it. All right. So the difference between I want and I'm wanting are two different. You've moved out of just the idea into the state. And when you're into the state, stuff starts happening. It just starts happening. All right. In you, on you, around you, through you, it just starts happening. Okay. Because you are in the process now of actually obtaining that desire, that desired object, that desired thing, that wanting. You're getting ready to obtain it so you can get that satisfaction. All right. All right. So these are just again, they're attitudes they're attitudes and actions and behaviors that are associated with desires. All right. You have a desire. Okay. You are desiring. Then you are moving. You are in the process of, I'm getting serious about this thing. It's not something I want. No, it's something I'm wanting. Okay. And wanting means, I'm going to keep wanting until I'm not wanting. Okay. All right. So undoubtedly, without a doubt, it is a creative tool. And that in itself, because it is in the process of doing something and of bringing something to you, or helping you bring it to you, it's enough for me. But just to take it a little bit farther, I can take it. I mean, I understand it as a creative force, a creative power, creative part of my arsenal, or my toolbox, or my tools of creativity. I take it as that because it is just like my feelings, or like my thoughts, or like my faith, or my word. They're things that I can observe. I can look at them. I can I can know that they're separate from me, and I can observe them. I can I can take them out of the box, and I can look, and I can examine how they make me feel and how they make me react, and what I do when when I'm in the process, or in the wanting, in the moment, in the believing. They're just like my feelings. So when I can look at a part of me that sometimes, once upon a time, I used to think that was me. It was me. My beliefs, my thoughts, my feelings, the words that I say, my behavior. For a long time, until I began to really understand who, what, and whose I was. I am. Then I started realizing that all of this is just stuff that was given to me. My feelings, my thoughts, my words, my my senses, my ability to um, behave, act, change my act, react, respond. All of those are my tools. So just like the rest of the stuff in my toolbox, you know, along with curiosity and imagination, all those tools that I use for creating my reality, my life, I also use my desires. All right. But I've learned that desires is it's really one of those superpowers. All right. And unfortunately, we often lack understanding. And I don't know if it's so much that we just take it for granted. I think that would probably be a better way to put it, because we understand that we have desire, but we may not understand how it operates. We may not fully understand that we can manage it. We may not understand that we can use it, misuse it, overuse it, underuse it, ignore. We can do all of those things to it. We may not even understand that it could manage us if we are not conscious, aware, and awakened to who, what, and whose we are. All right. So, hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to put it. So it is definitely, without a doubt, a creative tool in our toolbox. So if you haven't gone somewhere to find it, to pull it out of the toolbox and dust it off, put a little oil on it, rub it, clean it, I suggest that you do that. And I suggest that you sit down and you think a long time, just give it some time to really think about and appreciate the fact that you desire. All right. And you can also appreciate that you don't have to fear it. You don't have to fear that it's going to get out of hand, because now that you know it's a tool, you can understand and begin to learn how to best use it to get the benefit from it. Or, so just like any other tool, you can use it to your benefit, or you can move it to your detriment. Okay. So it's up to you. You can decide how you're going to manage it to get what you want, to what you want to manifest in your life. How you're going to use it to create and manifest, because you cannot not create. Right? You cannot not create. But I want you to be a master at creating, a master at manifesting. So that's why I'm here. This is my purpose for being here. All right. So what does oh, I wanted to read this. I wanted to say desire is arguably or not well, you can just it has a reason for there's a reason behind it being. We have it for a reason. And because it is the foundation of absolutely all of our achievements, all of everything that we have achieved, that we've overcome, that we've been successful at. It started as a desire. It started as a desire, and and without that desire, even though you may have taken it for granted and not thought about it or whatever, but you're going to start thinking about it now. I hope, and I'm sure that you will. Without desire, if any accomplishments will be seen without desire, no accomplishments. You won't see any accomplishments. You won't see any successes. You won't see any overcomers. You won't see any you'll see manifestations, and there'll be, oops, did I do that? A lot of boo-boos, a lot of mistakes, a lot of getting what you don't want, a lot of, just without it. And without it, it is one of those intangibles. Okay. Without it, you don't have hope. Without desire, you don't have hope, because desire gives you a goal. without desire, you don't even have a goal. There's no goal. There's no there's no accomplishments. There's no successes in your life. But it is very necessary. It is a very necessary tool. It's one, and it's a super necessary tool. It's one of your superpowers. You gotta have it. You gotta have it. If you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, if you want to bring success and accomplishments and see goals accomplished in your life, then need, you have your access at your fingertips, desire. All right. So what does desire do? All right. Another thing, what does it do? What does desire do? Desires are the most natural parts of our body, and they're kind of at the natural cause of some of our body changes, some of our physiological changes. Now I'm skirting around my comfort zone here, because I'm not going to talk too much about this tonight. Now I might talk about it a little later when I get a little bit more nerve or brave about it. But it causes a physiological and a physical and a body. Your body changes with the power or the energy or the tool of our superpower, desire. It causes a reaction in our bodies. All right. Now I'm going to get very basic here, because you may think that I'm just talking one track mind here, but I'm going to bring it home. Hunger. When you're hungry, your desire is to feed and to eat. Yeah. When you're thirsty, and your body changes until you satisfy it, until you satisfy that desire. There may be needs. There needs to. We talk about that in another session. But I really want you to understand that it is not just something that you think or you feel or you just, yeah. Things are happening to you physically when you desire. Yeah, go back to, you can go back to Rick and Tina if you want to, and listen to that song and kind of get the idea. But it's not just for sex, and it's not just for that romantic kind of stuff going on. I mean, I'm about plain every day, eating, sleeping, disposing waste and all those things. You desire. It desires behind all that. Desires behind all that, and it's causing those changes in your body, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as well. Yes. We have spiritual desires. We have physical desires. We have emotional desires. We have desires, and they affect us, not just in our mind, but they affect us physically as well. Sleep, food, drinks, sex, all of those trigger. When we have a desire for those, it triggers changes in our physiology, all right, our body, right? And it's clear, and you have to kind of think about it too. Think about this in this way. There are desires that are just involuntary. There's no, you don't have to do anything to, this is they're gonna happen. The hunger's gonna come up, and your body's gonna, act a certain way. You're gonna have a desire, to for food or sex and all of those things, and you're gonna have a change in your body. And it's not, and these are we have no voluntary control over whether we have certain desires, right? Because it's just natural. We need to eat. We have that in our body. Our bodies have a craving of its own, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's a physiological thing and again, we may kind of talk a little bit about that. Again, I'm kind of like I'm skirting around my comfort zone on that right now, but I might get brave enough and get enough information enough that I can, speak to you, not so much as an expert, but as somebody that's learning on this journey. All right. So anyway, it says that we have no voluntary control over whether we form certain desires and those desires, or whether they come into existence. All right. We don't always have control of that. And sometimes that can turn into addictions or obsessions and things like that. And again, we'll talk about that later too. But I just want to put that out there and put that in your mind and your thoughts, that it's not just a feeling. It's it's necessary. It's something that's very necessary, very innate to your physiology, your body. It's part of you. It's part of who you are, right? Something that I also want to talk about is our beliefs. Our beliefs cause desires too. Right? We have a desire that's associated with what we believe. All right, we believe a certain thing, and again, those beliefs sometimes are connected to things that subconsciously that we believe, that we don't even realize that we believe. And that's when addictions and obsessions and those, those excesses kind of kick in, lust and all those other things that kind of kick in there. That makes it kind of, well, maybe I need to not have desires because I'm gonna do that. No. We have desires. We just want to understand them, and we want to know how to manage them, just like we manage the rest of ourselves and the rest of our tools in our tool shed. So we're just knowing it. I want to say this. I want to say that I I I did have a chance to kind of look at different philosophies about desire from the ancient ones, some folk like Socrates and Aristotle. In fact, I want to share this one that Aristotle says, and this is again, this is also a topic that I will probably want to expand on a little bit more as I get a little bit more familiar with what he's really talking about in this case, and I kind of got the gist of it. But this kind of triggered my curiosity, and that is according to Aristotle, who distinguishes desire into two aspects. And he says it's appetition and volition. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about both of them, but tonight I just want to say appetition because that I kind of figured that had to do with appetite, and I kind of got that one. We'll probably have to talk about volition next time, which I think has to do with our will, but we'll talk about that. But anyway, a volition, it's a longing for or seeking after something, a craving. Aristotle makes the distinction the distinction as follows. He says everything too everything is pleasant for which we have the desire within us, since desire is a craving for pleasure. All right. Now, the key word there is pleasure. Doesn't say whether it's good or bad or whatever. It says pleasure. Right now, we know that we can get pleasure. We can get pleasure to the max. Okay, we can get pleasure to the extreme. So I'll leave that. I'll leave that at that. But that's what he says. And like I said, I'm gonna delve a little bit more into Aristotle. He's kind of cool. Frisky little guy. But anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what where he's coming from on that. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a future session. I'm gonna come kind of coming to the end here. But what I do want to say is that desire motivates us. It motivates us in many important ways. It motivates us. It motivates us physically. For example, physically, it motivates us to feed our hunger, feed our bodies. It motivates us to get to sleep, to rest when we need to. It motivates us to find co-create, co-create, and that is find mates. It is important to us because we get thirsty. Our body wants to drink, so we have a desire to quench that thirst, and the thirst could be emotional thirst, like spiritual thirst. Oh, we have thirst, So it is physically, and it's also it's intellectually desire. Intellectual, and I thought this was interesting, and I thought, okay, all right, okay. Intellectually, they say that desire is really curiosity. How about that? Okay, that's it intellectually, mentally, in your mind. Sexually, desire is called lust. Now, again, it could be pleasure. Lust sometimes has one of those words that you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm not lusty. Well, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Economically, desire is called consumerism or consumer demand. If you remove any of these expressions, if you remove lust from your vocabulary, if you remove curiosity, if you remove thirst and hunger from expressions, we would cease to exist. We would not exist. If we did not have the desire called hunger, the desire called thirst, the desire called curiosity, the desire called consumer demand, consumerism, capitalism in some cases, if we did not have any of those desires, we wouldn't exist. We would cease to be. We would cease to be. Think about that until next week. Think about that. Desire propels us. It pushes us. It motivates us. It moves us toward the satisfaction of that desire. Whatever that object of desire is, once satisfied, we move on to the next desire. But we've overcome, we've accomplished, we've reached a goal, we've done something, right? We've satisfied that curiosity. We've eliminated that craving, that longing, that yearning, that wanting is satisfied. And we go on, and we go on, right? Without desire, again, there is no hope. Without desire, there is no goal. Without desire, there's no spirit. Because your spirit, dear heart, it's called imagination. It's that part of you, that Christ spirit. I call it imagination. Without desire, there's no flame. We're going to talk about that flame. That's what James kind of was insinuating, that he called that the flame, but it's a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more. Our fire of desire needs to be our power, our creative power of desire. That creative power of desire needs to be lit, and it needs to be continually fed. It needs to be alive, and it needs to be active. It needs to be encouraged. It needs to be invited. It needs to be appreciated, acknowledged. It needs you. It needs you, because you are the captain of your ship. You are the captain of your life. You are the one that will have to take steps in the being, in the longing, in the wanting part. You have to go into that state, and you have to bring out whatever that object is of your desire. All right. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. I will leave it at this. I will want to ask you, what is it that you really, really, really desire, that you're wanting, that you're yearning for, that you just will not be happy and satisfied until you reach it, until you get it, until you acquire it, until you be it? What is it? Think about it. Think about it. Is it a passing fancy? Or have you made it a desire, a deep, burning desire in your life? All right. I want to leave you with this quote too, and this is by Rudyard Kipling. He's an author and a poet. And if you know the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, I had to learn it in grade school when I was a kid. But this is a quote, and it's not from the book. I don't think it's from his book. I don't think so, but it does start with "if." He says, and I quote, "If you want something and don't get it," you may want to write this down or come back and read it, listen to it later. If you want something and don't get it, that means you really didn't want it, or you tried to bargain over the price. End of quote. So you do not have to bargain over your creative power of desire or any part of your creativity. You don't have to bargain over it. It's yours. It's yours. And it will benefit you to the utmost to learn and understand how to use it, how to navigate your life, manage it so it can help you become the master manifester that you were designed to be. All right. That's all I have for you tonight. And I will see you on hopefully next Thursday, where we'll talk a little bit more about that creative power called desire. Until then, keep desiring, keep wanting, keep yearning, keep achieving, keep succeeding, keep manifesting. God loves you, and so do I. Always, always manifest best. Good night, conscious ones.